All right, we're going to talk about a little Netflix thing here that, I don't know, we were halfway into this topic before we figured this is interesting. So the Netflix Marvel series of the Defenders folks, it started with Daredevil, you got Luke Cage, you got Jessica Jones, you got Iron Fist, and they did the Defenders. And then you did the Punisher too. I was talking about the Punisher series, which was good. Very violent, by the way. Oh, Disney only does softcore stuff. No, Punisher was fucking violent. You see that?
Yeah,
series?
I did. I watched
Good
it.
series, but very violent. Anyway, so they've come out to mostly good reviews. I think the worst of them was probably the first series of Iron Fist. Then again, I wasn't a huge Jessica Jones fan. I fell asleep during the episodes of Jessica Jones season 2, so I said, okay, this isn't for me. But they've been good though. Violent production values are good. Whatever. They've done okay. But now they canceled the season 3s of Iron Fist and Luke Cage within a couple weeks after the Iron Fist season 2 came out, which was better than season 1, by the way. But season 1 was a disaster.
I'm not watching either.
And then Luke Cage were both good seasons. I enjoyed season 2 of Luke Cage more than season 1 because of the mix-up in the villain. After the first half of Luke Cage season 1 was really good. The second half fell off a cliff to me. But they're both good series.
I really need to see season 2 of Luke Cage. I love season 1
was good.
of Luke Cage.
Yeah, it was good. But the second half, second half of season 1 was not the best.
Only in retrospect to me did that happen. But while I was watching it, didn't bother me. But in retrospect, yes, the first villain in season 1 was so good that
Diamondback.
Cottonmouth.
Cottonmouth versus Diamondback.
Yeah, exactly.
So much better. An actress much. Anyway, so they're canceling now these Marvel shows, which has not happened before. It's only happened on network TV before with Agent Carter. My love, Haley Atwell, getting screwed out of a season 3 when they left on a cliffhanger of season 2. But that was on ABC though. I'm surprised they didn't bring that to Netflix. But anyway, so their decision came October 20th via a deadline, and people were wondering what's going on because it's not clear that if this means that these are gone for good now, or if Disney's streaming service coming out next year is going to pick them up, because both seasons ended on a cliffhanger. Iron Fist season 2 ends on a cliffhanger. I won't spoil it for Ian in case you ever watched it. And Luke Cage season 2 basically ends with Luke Cage being in the position of power, like he's now becoming like a gangster. He's becoming what he was fighting against. This shot ending was a direct homage to the end of The Godfather, pulling back, looking what's going on, and the door's closed. That was the end of Godfather. Like, this is a guy that didn't want to become what he hated, and he's become what he's trying to avoid. So some very interesting things going on with these series. And so I don't know how ratings work on Netflix. I don't know how they weigh the pros and cons. I mean, South Park did the episode last year where they approve every show that comes on Netflix, and okay, you're approved. They rubber stamp anything is on Netflix. So you would hope that this would mean, again, that Disney picks these up and does it themselves instead of going through Netflix. So according to the initial report regarding the cancellation of Luke Cage, behind the scenes tension between the show's creative team, Netflix and Marvel prompted the sudden decision to end the series. According to the report, the pink slipping of Luke Cage was ultimately a combo of the age-old Hollywood creative differences and the inability for the parties involved to reach a deal on how to move forward, according to sources. So it's a bummer, especially because it's gonna be weird because like they're doing another Punisher series. Daredevil season 3 just came out, and I gotta watch it.
I have to watch it. I mean, I really did not care much for season 2 of Daredevil.
I liked it.
The last 4 episodes were pretty decent.
I thought it was a good continuation. The Punisher stuff was good early on.
Punisher stuff was okay, and I liked the D'Onofrio stuff as Fisk. The reason I want to watch Daredevil season 3 is because D'Onofrio's Fisk is back, and I can't think. It's hard for me to think of a representation of a villain in recent memory that is well done as D'Onofrio's representation of Kingpin. It's just so fucking good.
It's very nuanced. There's a lot of backstory stuff that you would expect that wasn't from the comics. It's like, oh, they added to this pretty well. They did a good job. D'Onofrio's D'Onofrio.
He's one of my favorite fucking actors. Yes. He's kind of like a sleeper. There's not a ton of people who love him, but the people who love D'Onofrio.
Well, he has a lot of high profile stuff. It's always, he's sort of that guy that, he filled out this role pretty well.
He's my guy. I mean, even in the shittier movie, well, not the shittier movie, but even in the less known movies, like in The Cell, he made The Cell watchable.
Oh, I didn't see that. He shows up. He shows up in the breakup as Vince Vaughn's brother, and he only has a few scenes, but he's trying to do something as peculiar brother character. Like he could have just phoned it in if he wanted to,
No,
but he didn't.
never does. He never
phone
phones anything in. He's great.
You could tell he put a character, like a study behind this character that has like maybe 20 lines the whole film.
Yes,
And he did, because I just noticed that. I'm like, this character is like peculiar, and I can tell there's something here.
Yep.
He's like awkwardly existing with his brother. I'm like, there's something here, but I'm watching a dumb comedy with Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston.
Bless you, Vincent D'Onofrio. Bless you, Vincent D'Onofrio.
And people would say they'd love to see D'Onofrio's Kingpin with Tom Holland Spider-Man. Like that would be an awesome thing to see.
I'd melt into a puddle. I'd lose it.
Let's put it this way. Not that I don't want to see Mysterio on the big screen, but it's Mysterio. I mean, I guess you can make it interesting, but it's Mysterio.
Just please give me D'Onofrio.
But
anyways,
of course, though, Ian, Luke Cage and Iron Fist are buddies in the comic. They team up at some point.
That's initially what I thought. See, I haven't seen either season 2 of either of those yet, and someone had told me, apparently erroneously, that either it in the story or what they had heard was, and what I had always thought was going to happen personally, that eventually Luke Cage and Iron Fist were going to, meet up, because it's what happens. I mean, that's just, they're buddies in comics. It always happens. Maybe that's what was going to happen in each of their season 3s. I don't know. But however, when Iron Fist got canceled, in the back of my head, I said, well, there goes Luke Cage. I have no idea if that's why. Obviously, it doesn't seem like it is. Iron Fist did poorly all around. It makes sense to me that Iron Fist got canceled. This is saying creative differences, so it's very obvious that it could just be 2 separate reasons for them both getting canceled. But it did seem, I mean, to me, it just made sense also that Luke Cage was getting canceled because Iron Fist got canceled.
The relationship is going to get weird between Netflix and Disney/Marvel, just because it seems like season 3 of Daredevil is getting rave reviews, so they're going to try to probably keep it there. Netflix, depending on how the deal's structured. Then Punisher is probably going to do well, and Jessica Jones, I think, is filming now the season 3. You might now have this shift of balance. It's almost like the relationship between Sony and Disney now with sharing Spider-Man. You might have to share these TV characters if Netflix, which is going to be weird, because you can't have like Defenders season 2 now without bringing back Luke Cage and Iron Fist. You can't do it. I will say this. You will be happy to know that in Luke Cage season 2, there is an episode that Danny shows up, Iron Fist. It is the best version of him.
Good.
If they wrote him like in the Iron Fist series, it wouldn't have been as shit upon. Like, I'm not the biggest Iron Fist fan, that even I know that the character was awful in season 1. He's better in season 2,
right?
But they couldn't change the character enough to recover. They couldn't like 180 the character. For being the whiny, sniveling, out of touch character in season 1. So, yeah, like that to me was a weird decision, and maybe that was more of a Netflix thing than Marvel. When I first watched that season 1, I was watching this, seeing, I can't imagine, because Marvel with their movies they've been pretty faithful to how these characters with their origins, where they come from, and how they act. When I saw Iron Fist, I was like, scratch my head, like, this is a strange, like, deviance from the character that had to be purposeful. Like, you have to make a decision that we want this to be written differently. Like, we want this to be different than what people are used to for whatever reason. I mean, they make jokes about him. It's like, oh, you're just some rich white boy, you don't know what's going on. They make him look stupid in Defenders. And if I was
the best part about Defenders was the fact that he wasn't in it for really any of it. Like, he was the person. He was a
MacGuffin.
Yeah, I mean, so for people who are newer to the podcast, Iron Fist is one of my favorite Marvel characters. Like, very much top of the line. I think the Matt Fraction, Dave Asia run of Iron Fist. Is it The Last Iron Fist and Seven Cities of Heaven or something like that? Those two arcs are just fucking phenomenal. They're gorgeous. They're amazingly well written. They're great stories. And there's other stuff too. Iron Fist is a really fun character to read. That can be funny. They can take him kind of seriously. They can be. It's great stuff. And the reason why I won't watch the Marvel ones is because just immediately people were like,
"What the fuck?
What the fuck?" And then I read a little bit about it, and it's like, yeah, people always say, "Oh, just watch it." No, I've never had one single person, and absolutely never one Iron Fist fan, ever tell me that it was ever worth a shot.
Yeah, even the martial arts scenes are choreographed better in season 2. They got rid of the writing team and the fight choreography team for season 1. They got rid of everyone.
Okay, because I heard
Yeah.
the fight choreography was miserable too, and I was so looking forward to it. I'm like, the action's going to be great. It's going to be funny. It's going to be... No. I heard it was sad, depressing, whiny, and the fighting sucked. And there was very little of it.
Part of it, Finn Jones
Yeah, sorry, guy.
wasn't a trained martial artist. You can tell, kind of Ralph Macchio-esque, where it's like, yeah, he's going through punch motions, but he hasn't been training for a while. Like, it takes you years to really know how to look, like a real martial artist. Like, even when I can't watch even The Matrix with watching Neo throw those punch and kicks. I'm like, he doesn't look like he's actually knows what he's doing. But anyway, so it's a shame, but watch season 2 of Luke Cage, because when Iron Fist shows up, you're like, oh, okay, this isn't the shittiest version of
What
him.
could have been? I mean,
Yes.
let's just cry, dude. I mean, maybe I don't need to see that.
Well, but maybe you'll see Disney on the streaming service. You'll pay $9.99 a month to see that Heroes for Hire. Because there's something there. The chemistry between the two actors was there in the limited amount of time we see them.
Sure.
But I think the writing, for some reason, hamstrung. Either they were ashamed of his character. It's almost like they were ashamed to write him this day and age. Like, well, it's like a whitewash thing. Or there was something behind the scenes that they did not want to write him like the comics. And it's so apparent. Like they just shifted it away from what it was. And just fucking run with the concept. It's there. People like it for a reason. Don't shy away from it. Lean into it. And there was other cool characters in the show too, Misty and what's her name, who might have gotten a power at the end of season 2.